Greetings and thanks everybody. I'm Clifton A. Casteel, and it is a pleasure to give this review. Now, in our presentation, we will analyze, understand, and appreciate the benefits of having a remarkable character. Now, I'd like to open with 3 rhetorical questions. Do you believe God exists? And do you wish you could be God? And do you question why a good God permits so much suffering? Well, it's very reasonable to believe that most individuals at some point in their lives, they wish they could alter outcomes from negative situations to positive ones, perhaps to provide essential resources for the needy. However, some of us as God would use our power nefariously. Consider, oh boy, if I could be God, I'd get my revenge. I'd give that skunk more issues than Job had. That man in the Bible. In high school, in a small Oklahoma town, I was in love with a beautiful cheerleader, salt of the earth. Insisted that I buy her lunch every day. Well, one day I received a letter indicating she no longer had feelings for me and had found someone she had more feelings for. Now, what struck me the most, the guy wasn't as smart as me. Yes, he was captain of the football team, always on the honor roll, good looks. But so what? And I asked my girlfriend, I said, listen, just because he has all those things doesn't mean that you should break my heart. My best friend said, now listen, Casteel, if you want to get even, ask God to punish her for dumping you. My father says prayers do come true. So one evening I petitioned God. I said, God, please discipline my ex-girlfriend by giving her 1,000 pimples. And this way, no boy will ever want to kiss her. And I promise I will never again play hooky from school. Well, it's a good thing God do not grant petitions. Here's why. A month later, she wrote, Dear pretty boy Clifton, you are the apple of both of my eyes. My heart belongs to you only. Oh, please, please take me back or my heart will stop beating. Now, I confess, I took her back, felt sorry for her, didn't want her heart to stop beating, and insisted she let me buy her dessert when I buy her lunch, which is every day. And she said, no, you don't have to buy me dessert every day. I said, no, I insist. And this meant I did not have money to buy my lunch. Now, to see if it's possible to be God, please try these 4 steps. First, select a quiet place appropriate for meditation. Next, close your eyes and carefully reflect each exercise. Then, imagine you could be God. Next, believe you are God. And the final exercise, softly say to your moral consciousness and your empathetic heart, we will be God. Now, if they push back, you humbly state, yes, we can be God. That is, we can be God in the flesh. You see, in each of us, we have a prophet waiting to be released. Now, you're almost there. Next, I suggest that you add 5 keys to help with your ability to serve others effectively. Do not be quick to outsource your responsibilities to God with prayers or wait for others to act. Seek clarity before proceeding, and your judgment is less harsh. Understand the world that you created, and thus you will respect and understand the worlds of others. Know that your morality is always on display to the world. Finally, be aware the highest dedication to God is to respect and to appreciate every race which was carefully designed. Now, to accomplish the 5 keys mentioned, an individual must have exceptional character. Theologians proclaim character comes from deep within. It's an individual's morality, honesty, humility, loyalty, good relationship with others, and other virtuousness. Now, about our character. Dr. Martin Luther King advocates that society should not be quick to judge a person by their race, by their gender, by their religious beliefs, by their sexual orientation, by their station in life. No, but rather judge a person by their positive qualities, mainly a person's character. Now, character is what we do and how we serve others when we are not being noticed. An individual's character is not related to their beliefs in a higher power. You see, a person who proclaims to be a Christian can be absent of distinguished character. When you show up as a positive force to someone in despair, your character reminds you that you're not there to be a judge. You're not there to be a mental counselor. You're not there to make assumptions or assume that you can always solve a crisis, but rather your character reminds you to always listen with unclogged ears and focused eyes and with an open consciousness, and always choose your words carefully. In the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz tells us that a simple word can destroy a life, a simple word can destroy a race. And thus our word should be impeccable. Simply stated, think before you speak and know how to say your words. Rabbi Steve Latta suggests in More Beautiful Than Before that each of us can serve someone more deeply if we realize we're capable of being God in the flesh. And thus we will answer prayers. And he further notes, God do not answer prayers. Offering our service to others requires both courage and strong character. The greatest gift that we can give an individual is our outstanding character. Now, in our presentation, I will discuss how to better serve others by having excellent character. And it's a value that we all believe in, and hopefully we all have good character. Now, if our character is present, we will learn how to have a conversation with a friend, how to have a conversation with a stranger, and be able to recognize when someone is going through the worst times of their life. Or it could be the death of a loved one, or death of a beloved pet. Now, I've chosen to review several cases where either I was a participant or observed someone or a group demonstrating good character and lessening the burdens of others. Case 1, I lived in New Orleans and knew a wonderful, respectful young professional couple, and I was proud they were my neighbor. We later moved to different cities. The couple, now proud parents, informed me they were blessed with a precious son. However, many years thereafter, parents called to inform me about their son, their only child, now teenager, is involved in a serious criminal offense. I did not know what to say. I didn't know how to show up. I think I said a few unproductive thoughts. Now, it is logical to assume the parents' wounds will never completely heal. From time to time, their wounds will augment. At the dinner table during a restless night, they might reflect. Could we have taken different actions which might have changed the outcome for our beloved son? However, there's no definitive explanation why teenagers deviate from their carefully guided paths, and parents should not assign blame to their method of parenting, and neither should society. You see, teenagers naively believe they know what is best for their life. Someone believing they have the answer to mitigate the parents' sorrow and downheartedness will state, "Oh, don't feel bad now. My grown daughter refused to help me after my major surgery, never offered to cook or clean, didn't want to fill my prescriptions. So your issue is mild compared to mine." Now, according to David Brooks, such an individual is known as a topper. He explains this in How to Know a Person. You see, a topper is someone who proclaims their issues worse, and the conversation should be focused on them. However, I did not realize that much of my role involved having character and interacting with the parents. Calling and asking thoughtful concerns. How's your precious son? How often are you able to communicate with him? How are you all handling this dilemma? Thus, the parents feel they are seen, they are heard, and they remain highly respected. But what I wouldn't have done was to try and gloss over the seriousness of their situation. Maybe with this, "Oh, don't feel bad. Every day we have a teenager being involved in something appalling." And since the parents didn't contact me, I assumed they weren't interested in discussing their situation. However, I would treasure their conversations. Case 2. Should an individual provide service if they are confronted with a serious predicament? A woman in her 30s sat next to me in the physician's office lobby, and after ending her telephone call, she smiled and stated, "Sir, I hope I did not annoy you." She did. "You see, sir, I was telling my best friend I won't be coming over there this Friday night as usual, and it breaks my heart not to be able to go over there. You know, she has a disease called inclusion body myositis. Short, it's called IBM." And I said, "I've never heard of that disease." "Well, sir, it's rare. The immune system destroys muscle mass. It's difficult for her to get out of bed, and the worst of it, this disease is progressive." And I replied, "Sounds like she has a serious challenge. But tell me, are you waiting to see a doctor?" "No, sir, I have seen my doctor, and the news isn't what I expected. You see, my severe headaches are due to a malignant tumor near one of my eyes." I interrupted. "Excuse me, what about surgery? Have you seen a specialist?" "Well, my doctor isn't sure about surgery. More tests are needed, but whatever the verdict, I'll just put my faith in God's hands." Her eyes began to swell with tears. "But, sir, I'm just sitting here wondering if I should tell my best friend about my situation. I certainly wouldn't want her horrible illness to worsen." Now, I asked about her family, her life, and sought more information concerning her friend. This was my way of letting her know she is seen, she is heard, and she's appreciated by aligning her challenges with someone else, her best friend. "Well, sir, I'm going to leave now, and listen, I wish your appointment goes well." Now, her statement meant for me to know that I am seen, I am admired, and my words of concern are thoughtful. Case 3. I entered an eatery and sat on a stool next to a young black woman, and I noticed she was without food or a menu. So I asked if she had waited a long time to be served. "Well, maybe 15 minutes, sir." Now, young lady, all my life I've tried to understand why some white people believe they must suck the oxygen from we black people. "Oh, wait a minute now, sir. It's possible that her behavior has little to do with our race. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get her attention." And she was able to attract the woman's server's attention. And she smiled and they exchanged names. "Now, were you aware the gentleman and I are waiting to be served? Is there something wrong? Now, if so, do you want to share? You know, I've been told I'm a good listener." Now, with a small amount of trepidation, the server bemoaned, "I had a miscarriage last week and I was told I must show up to work or risk losing my job. You know, it's my second miscarriage." And a coworker said, "If I don't lose weight, I will never have a baby." Emotional tears were visible. And I do apologize for not serving y'all. My mind is just all over the place. Now, what followed next was a display of superb character. The black woman requested, "May I please come back there where you are?" After being given the green light, the young black woman darted behind the bar and quickly embraced the lady server, and for a minute or two, the only words spoken were emotional tears. And she lamented, "In no way can I imagine the degree of your pain. You see, I realize that each of us have different degrees of hurt, even if the problem is nearly the same. But I would like to share this with you. I, too, suffered a painful miscarriage." Now, if the empathetic black woman had affirmed to be what she believed would lessen the server's emotional pain with this, "I'm sure you'll be okay. You know, it is we black women who suffer more miscarriages." Now, this statement would be saying, as a white woman, there must be something wrong with you if you can't carry a baby to full term. Case 4. As reported on the national news, 2 middle-aged strangers were jogging on the same path. The black gentleman stopped and bent over in discomfort. The woman jogger, who is white, stopped and asked if he needed assistance. "Well, to be honest, ma'am, I should not be running. I urgently need a kidney, and so far no one has come forward to be tested for compatibility." "Sir, that really sounds terrible. I would not want to be in your condition," replied the woman. Now, her statement might appear to be lacking in empathy. On the other hand, it would be condescending if she chose to discount the gravity of the stranger's illness with this: "Sir, you hang in there. I've heard of many patients who survive on dialysis for extended periods." Instead, the woman asked, "Sir, would you consider receiving a kidney for me if we are a match? If so, I will get tested as soon as I can." Bingo! She was a match and donated a kidney. And because the woman showed up with concern and inquired about a stranger, a life was extended. The woman unknowingly was what the gentleman often prayed for someone to show up with character and to be his God in the flesh. Oh, it's wonderful. Case number 5. In 2005 in Monroe, Louisiana, I witnessed groups of citizens of various churches and all levels of society coming together to see if they can ease the burdens of tens of dozens of people who left New Orleans to escape Hurricane Katrina with little more than their solid faith. Well, the Red Cross established a shelter for evacuees. White, empathetic givers visit this shelter daily, arrange employment, provided entertainment for their children, cooked meals, washed clothes, asked these evacuees to attend church. Now, after evacuees, mostly black, hard-working citizens were vetted for clarification. The white caregivers provided comfort in their homes, but not realizing they were what downtrodden people hoped for people to show up with outstanding character and to beat their God in the flesh. Case 6. At a dollar retail store, I asked a young black lady dressed in a low-wage worker's uniform with a young child why she would put money in a canister on a counter that asked to help a single mother with children get back on her feet. She replied, I just wish I had more money to give. I don't have a couple of dollars to give. Yes, I do need my money, but the little money that I give and somebody else gives and so forth, hopefully this mother will get back on her feet. Now the woman had character here. And you know what? Her son is going to emulate her. She's a paragon. Case 7. In 2008, I was introduced for posting an op-ed extolling Senator John McCain, a Republican, for displaying distinguished character. Now, it's a rarity among politicians today. During numerous town hall gatherings, potential voters swore that his opponent, Senator Barack Obama, a Democrat, is a man lacking in morality, hates America, not a Christian, and should not be president. Senator McCain did not hesitate in denouncing their negative thoughts about Senator Obama. Rather, he stated this: while my opponent is a gentleman with outstanding character, he should not be president. You see, he's too liberal for America. They should elect me. I'm conservative. Now, political strategists believed that if Senator McCain had agreed with voters' negative opinions of Senator Barack Obama, he would have occupied the White House and not Senator Obama. Now, our last case is an individual demonstrating commendable character. To escape Hurricane Katrina, I relocated to a city in Louisiana, bringing with me a mental illness, that of society and anxiety. Now, I dismiss this illness of anxiety and depression. Now, in this resident, I envision hearing words of encouragement from strangers. However, those who showed up did not ask concerning thoughts. They could have asked, what part of your life are you most proud of? Or what would you correct if you could go back in time? Tell me about your resume. And because no one was interested, my suffering intensified. I fell from the ground floor, a mental illness onto the basement floor, overflowing with negative, eroding connotations, just pleading to be my friend. Michael Singer in The Unfettered Soul draws on the idea that to know who you are, you must be willing to let go of who you think you are. Yet I journey my life, and my thesis was this: do you like me? No? Well, okay, I'm gonna like myself. Now, I'm not certain who I heard quoting Paul Tillis, but here's the quote open. Loneliness expresses the pain of being alone, and solitude expresses the glory of being alone, and suffering introduces you to yourself, and it reminds you that you are not the person you thought you were. Quote closed. Either by chance or divine intervention. In a medical mall, I met a woman in her early 50s who was from a nearby city called Winsboro, Louisiana. And she initiated a conversation and observed I was experiencing significant distress. And thus an individual, a strong character, must intervene to help me to overcome my self-imposed prison. You know, a prisoner cannot free himself. And for this discussion, I will refer to this individual as Janice, a name which means grace by God in Hebrew. Now, it remains really emotional for me to discuss this case. Well, night until the morning, I vented my challenges, and Janice listened. And this is the equivalent of lying on my basement floor as I grieved. Now, had Janice probed her judge or asked how an educated old man could slip so far into mental discomfort, her words would say, Cliff, I just don't understand you. You must have lived an awful life. Now, Janice understands that I am broken, but not broken open, and thus she must take the necessary step of becoming my support, my God in the flesh, before I was broken open. You see, if a person is broken open, the chances are slim for recovery. You know, most people at some times in their lives will be broken, but few are broken open. Janice became what David Brooks calls an illuminator and not a diminisher. You see, illuminators are curious people. They're respectful, they have character, they want people to be the best they can be. Now, in contrast, though, to diminishers who aren't interested in encouraging people, I mean, they don't have much character. Or they might say this: you're not a Christian, so I will dismiss your needs. Or this one: no one can stomach you. And even God doesn't like you. You're going through so much. I'm so glad I have call ID. I'm not going to talk to you. Now, Janice's thoughts perhaps unconsciously aligned with Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist imprisoned in a German concentration camp, and observed a prisoner crying. And the prisoner was apologizing for crying. And he discussed this in Man's Search for Meaning. Quote, there's no need to be ashamed of tears, for tears bore witness that a man has the greatest of courage, the courage to suffer. Quote close. Simply stated, the shedding of tears is not a sign of weakness or to be ashamed, but rather a demonstration of true courage. Yet, I could not understand why I should endure so much suffering, unending suffering, followed by tears. They came. And, I'd become ashamed of myself. So I refused to allow Janice to assist me in climbing my second mountain. David Brooks explains in The Second Mountain that each of us climbs two mountains as we journeyed. The first mountain is about a person's life of selfishness, overextended pride, and hollow success. The path that most people take throughout their life during the first mountain. Now, the second mountain is about a person's moral journey, achieving dreams, having success, using their character to help other people to be successful. Now, when I climbed my first mountain, it was to improve the needs of others. I did so much volunteering. But most of all, it was to satisfy my mother's dream. She wanted me to become a physician. I did not. And I was seldom happy. As Carolyn Miss notes in A Time for Grace, people suffer the most when they pursue a life which does not belong to them. The second mountain is worth my journey. When failure happens, and quite often, I refuse to believe I betrayed myself. No. And to add to my motivation, just by happenstance, I heard a song, Alive, by Jennifer Lopez, which I played many times. It was like a catalyst. In 1969, Thomas Harris, a psychiatrist, published a self-help book, I'm Okay, You're Okay. And he theorizes that each of us have 4 personalities or egos, which we employ daily doing transactional analysis. And our personalities develop from our upbringing and our environment. Now I'm going to begin with what I believe is the most pernicious personality to display. And that is, I'm okay, but you are not okay. Now this is an individual who is lacking in character. Is egotistical, views himself favorable, but sees others as being inferior. Today, this personality, I'm okay, you're not okay, is used. Gaslighting. People say I'm woke now. Or they might say, this race is okay, but that race is not okay. Next, I'm not okay, but you're okay. A person views himself as having low self-esteem while seeing the other person as being favorable. Well, they may say, well, I just can't make it in life. Nobody loves me and so forth. An individual dismisses the fact that if they have life, they have purpose. The third most unhealthy personality is this. I'm not okay, and you are not okay. Now this means an individual feels bad about their life and believes others should feel the same. They're experiencing the same emotional stress and struggles they are. And this is attached to many violent offenders who refuse to believe that they matter in life. And they say, well, if I don't matter, no one else should matter. Now, our last personality is most acceptable and magnanimous. I'm okay. You're okay. Now, this is an individual who accepts themselves favorable and shows mutual respect for other individuals. This is an individual who is not jealous. Do not judge. Do not become upset when an individual opposes their viewpoint. Finally, I ask that each of you to reflect on these 2 probes. Before you go to bed, do you ask your consciousness, am I guilty of letting this day expire without trying to improve someone's life? Now, if you attend religious service and the congregation consists of various races, do you ask an individual of a different race to eat Sunday dinner so you can exchange ideas and thoughts, understand each other? And let me add this. A 10-minute conversation with a homeless person or a downtrodden person will engage you to work towards understanding and mitigating their burdens. You see, look at it like this. You're on an island, 2 people, desolated. You have to have outstanding character to get along. My preacher grandfather once said this to me. Grandson, try to live your life as if it meant something for someone else. Have character. And if you have character, you will die the good death. Now, please do not forget to subscribe to my video channel and you will be notified of future presentation. And please visit my internet website, cliftonacasteel.com, and you can obtain a small resume of me, and you can procure my email address because I would like for your thoughts about character, how we can make this a better society. Thank you, everybody. You had outstanding character. What? You listened to this presentation. Thank you.